Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justine. I'm an artist and content creator. I'm so happy you're here because today I am adding color to an illustration that is so special to me. For me as an artist, I mainly focus on the characters and not really like the surrounding or the setting that they're usually in, just like the character. But this time I'm trying to stretch myself and still continue on with my style of art, but challenge myself. And so in this piece of art or in this illustration, I've decided to add a couple different elements to the background or the setting of where the character is placed in. So you'll see a table, you'll see what looks like probably a plant, and you'll see the character reading a book. I'm trying to expand myself and grow in that. So we're gonna work on that today. It's pretty much already sketched out. I'm just adding color to it. But there are a lot of things when you see the sketch, you will see like the plant clearly is not drawn yet. That's something that I will do when I'm actually adding the color. For some reason in my brain, I don't need to sketch that. I'm just gonna kind of freestyle it. So we'll see how that goes. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, guys. We are growing here on YouTube and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be building a community on here. And if you have not looked at my other YouTube videos, definitely go on my channel. I have a good amount so far, not too much, but not too little, where you can learn more about me as an artist and my background and how I quit my 9-to-5 to be a full-time artist during the COVID time. So just all the crazy things that I've done and learned, and I'm continuing to grow and learn in this journey of mine. And so definitely go there, check it out, leave some comments. I love talking with you guys in the comments, how we share our lives and we share what we've been through and how similar we can be. And oh my gosh, you quit your job, I quit my job too. Or you hated your job, I hated my job too. Like, you want to be an artist, and that's what I do right now. Like, so many similarities and sometimes differences that we have, but we connect over them. Definitely comment below. Cut to the sketch, and I'll also cut to me doing a voiceover, because I think it will be cool for you guys to hear exactly why I choose the things that I choose when I'm drawing and coloring in illustrations, right? So why did I choose that brush? Why did I choose that color? Why did I go from the character having a bun when at the end of the sketch she ends up having an afro? Like, what's the thought process, girl? And I'm happy to share it with you guys because it's all in my head, and I know you're curious about, like, okay, why did she choose that and that pattern, and how does that work in her mind? I'm gonna let you guys know. It may still not make sense to you, but at least you kind of know my thinking behind everything. So let's definitely get to it. Yeah, let's go. Come on. I'm so excited to get started on this piece of art. I'm trying something new by adding more details into the background, and so it's definitely an experiment, but that's what makes art so fun. So for me, I start out by adding another layer underneath the sketched out illustration. I prefer to keep the lines in the illustration. I just think it makes it so cool looking. So I want to make sure that I am putting the skin color that I am giving this character underneath the lines of the character, so that that can then help the lines of the sketch stand out even more. I honestly love just having the skin as its own layer, because at any point, if I want to change the complexion, I can easily do so. And in Procreate, they have the option to change the coolness or warmness of the color of the layer. So that's why I really stick to having a separate layer. At this point, in my characters, I don't do a lot of definition as far as shading, but I do the main three shades, right? So you have a contour, which is like more of the darker color, and then you have, or also people call it the shadow. And then you also have the highlight, right? So the lighter color. So for me, as a person who loves makeup and all of that, I incorporate what I know about putting makeup on your face, it's similar to painting and drawing for some reason with the shadow and highlight. So I do that in my characters as well, and it makes it so easy for me to kind of have a system in place when I am drawing. I feel like when you make drawing art your job, and you have multiple deadlines and working with different brands or different clients, it is nice to have a drawing system in place for you to easily get illustrations done and accomplished. So here I wanted to do some black frames. You guys know I am a glass wearer, so I love a good eyeglass. And at this point, I wanted to make it a little bit more special than just the regular black frame. So I'm literally using the brush that I use to add the color to the character and just kind of putting some white scribbles on it so it can just liven up the glasses. It kind of gives maybe a cow print look to it. So once I figure out how I want my eyeglasses to look, and this is the final look, I start working on the hair. I sketched out for this character to have a bun, but honestly, as I added the color to her, the main part of her hair, I actually like the hairstyle of it just being short, almost like a bob, but not quite. I decided that I want to keep it and actually get rid of the bun. So I duplicate the layer and keep one layer on so I can erase the bun. And because I had duplicated the original layer with the bun, I can always go back and add that. When it comes to me, I will always sketch out some type of hair, but while I'm in the midst of putting color to the character or illustration, I always like to change it up. I have a marker of what I'm thinking about, but once you start adding the color, I promise you, you might just change your mind, right? Some things are not a bun type of style, right? Or illustration. Sometimes you want a shorter hairstyle. Sometimes you want an afro. So I always start with a sketch, but I'm always drawing, of course, on top of that as well, especially when it comes to hair. A lot of my characters, they have a base of black hair, so it's easier for me to pretty much draw a whole nother hairstyle over it. With my character lounging around in her house or apartment, I wanted her to have something that I actually wear too, which is like a two-piece lounge set. And of course, I had to make it into my favorite color, pink. If you ever wonder why I have so much pink in a lot of my illustrations, it's because it's my favorite color. It makes me so happy. And honestly, I feel like when you see pink, you just smile, at least for me. And again, like I've said plenty of times before, I like to make art for me and my inner child almost in a way. Usually, I would take the same color of what the base of the outfit is and find a darker color to add shadows to the outfit. This time, I wanted to kind of make it a little cool and funky and pick a whole separate color. So, with the pink, I love seeing the color composition of pink and red. I think it just stands out a lot. So, that's why I went with a red to stand out and not be so obvious. When adding color to the table, I wanted to make sure I chose a brown that was different from her complexion because I don't want it to drown out. And so I just played around with the browns, kind of going off of the base of her complexion, but making it darker. For her lip color, of course, my main lip colors that I love to do are red, pink, and then a natural color, a neutral color, right? Like a nude. This time I wanted to do a red. I like to add a darker color in the crevices of the mouth because I think that represents the illusion of using a lip liner. Once I am happy with the skin color and I add her lip color as well, I add the glasses to the eyeglass frames, and I will lower the opacity so that it's not as strong, and I can kind of build on top of that to show the glare of eyeglasses. For some reason, when I'm working, I go all over the place, right? So at this moment, I'm like, okay, I know I want to do the nails soon, so let me clean up the nails. Let me get rid of some of the extra lines.
And then I remember that she had socks on. So let me add some socks on her. Because the background is white, I did the socks in a lighter color and the book in a lighter color and just changed the color to white. That makes it much easier for me versus taking out the background of the white. It's easier for me to just pick a lighter color, change the brightness to white, and go about my day. In here, I am just, this is a book that she's reading. I wanted to make it more authentic. So I write out thoughts as if it's my personal journal, which obviously it is probably talking about nonsense, but I write it anyway, because I didn't want to copy anything. I just wanted to scribble something down. Obviously, you probably can't even read my handwriting from that, but I just needed something on the page. At this point, I'm trying to figure out if I want to make it realistic by putting page one or two. That was so small that I was like, never mind. Anywho, we get to the main part, which is adding the plant that this character has in the background. And if you look at a lot of my art, I typically don't add a lot to my background. It's usually just the characters. So recently, I've been wanting to step out of my comfort zone, still keep my same style, but just add to the characters, right? Enhance the characters. And so I thought this type of character, she has such a cool table. She clearly has some type of cool vibe with her, right? With the glasses, the hair, the outfit. So let's give her a plant. This type of girl, she would have a plant in her home. Whether it's real or not, we will never know, right? But this character, she will have a plant. So I start by just, again, like I mentioned earlier, I had a quick sketch of what I might want the plant to look like, right? But other than that, I was waiting to just add the color to it because there's no point in me doing a whole sketch over the when I know I'm gonna put the color with it. So here I am, just kind of free drawing and adding the leaves to the plant. I started off with a darker shade of green, and then adding a lighter shade so that it gives it some shadow and highlight so that it's just not a plain green leaf, but it's a little bit more dynamic when you have the darker green and then you put the lighter green on top of that. And I actually loved doing this. I might incorporate plants more into my backgrounds for my illustrations because they really do just bring some type of grounding, I would say, to the illustration. And this is exactly what the character would have in her surrounding, in her home, in her environment. And I love that for her. I want to try to add some more just dynamic pieces into the plant illustration. So I'm thinking, okay, there might be dirt somewhere in the plant. And so I add just a little bit of brown or a darker shade to add what might be dirt to the plant. Next is one of my favorite things to draw, and a lot of times I draw freehand because I never know what I'm gonna want to do. And that is the jewelry, earrings, things like that. I love freehanding it because um, for some reason with jewelry, I don't like seeing the black outline. I actually like just seeing the color, which is total opposite of the rest of my illustration, which is really funny, but for some reason that's just what I like. And so I freehand everything when it comes to the jewelry. I usually love having gold jewelry pieces because I love wearing gold jewelry, but in this case, I wanted the character to stand out a little bit more. So her earrings are a bright green color. She does have a big chunky gold ring on her finger because she's still a gold girl, okay? And of course, pink nails. I usually like to do bright color nails because it just draws your eye even deeper into the illustration. Sometimes I do like to have a good white nail. Y'all know the summer white nails. I love it for the characters too. Or I do like a good black nail too. But today it called for a pink nail. As far as me doing the background of almost like the carpet that she's sitting on, I add some shadows to it that represent her body of where she's sitting, just to make it more realistic, and shadows where the plant is and the table. I don't normally do this, so don't eat me up in the comments, okay, guys? But I am trying something new, and I hope it turned out okay. I think it did. I like how it looks. Um, and then, of course, for the wall behind her, I wanted to pick an orange. I don't know why, but I wanted the orange color. Of course, I start looking at it and I'm like, is it blending too close to the shadow that I used in her two-piece lounge set? But I still want to stick to the orange because for some reason, this character just felt like she would have an orange background. After looking at the background, I knew I wanted to add something more to the orange, and so I wanted to do a quick scribble of a lighter color orange to bring more dynamic to the orange that's already there. And I brightened it up. But at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do that or not. So then I pick a different brush that adds texture to the background. I thought that was so cool. It reminded me of, what do they call that when you do that to your walls? Like stucco or something like that. So I like that, but I still wanted to add the lightness and the squiggles that I created previously. And when I paired them together, guys, I absolutely loved them. So I'll show you the finished look. But at this point, I'm just cleaning up the lines, making sure that nothing is overdrawn, that the lines do touch each other. I like to do that. Especially, when you talk about working with brands, you want to make sure that it is at its best, right? So the colors are all in place and the lines are all where they need to be. But this was the final look and I absolutely loved it. I was a little nervous at first, but then I was like, oh my gosh, I really love this illustration. And so I'll probably put it in my online shop so you guys can purchase it at any time. And here's my favorite part, which is adding my brand name, which is named after my grandfather, who I just loved so much. Honestly, this is your sign to try something new. I loved how this illustration turned out, and I will definitely be doing more illustrations with backgrounds. Bye!